Lakers. Magic Johnson stands as the ultimate Laker legend. Sure, Kobe's in the conversation, but Magic just nudges him out. Over 13 seasons, he averaged about 20 points, 11 plus assists, and 7 rebounds a night, racking up over 10,000 assists and shooting a ridiculous 52% from the floor. He was the engine behind 5 Showtime titles in the 80s and snagged 3 regular season MVPs plus 3 finals MVPs. Add 12 All-Star nods and 9 first-team All-NBA selections, and you've got a resume nobody else in purple and gold can touch. Standing 6 feet 9 inches, he redefined the point guard role, blending size, skill, and court vision like never before. Kareem and Kobe left their marks, but Magic's mix of stats, versatility, and leadership puts him at the peak. The Lakers' identity was built on his shoulders. No one else shaped the franchise like he did. Bulls. MJ's the undisputed king in Chicago. 6 rings, 2 three-peats, and finals MVP every single time. Over 15 seasons, he put up north of 30 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists nightly, all on nearly 50% shooting. That's video game level efficiency with a green light to shoot. He snagged 5 regular season MVPs, 10 scoring titles, and 9 all-defensive first-team nods. And he even snagged Defensive Player of the Year in '88. When the pressure was on, nobody brought the heat like Mike. His playoff scoring average, over 33 a night, still stands as the gold standard, and he owns the highest player efficiency rating the league's ever seen. Scottie Pippen was the perfect sidekick, locking down opponents and fueling those dynastic runs, and Derrick Rose gave the city a spark a decade later. But in Chicago's history, no one comes close to Jordan's legacy. Celtics. Bill Russell is the undisputed Celtics legend, and it's not even close. Over 13 seasons, he hauled in 11 titles, including that jaw-dropping run of 8 straight. On paper, he averaged about 15 points, 22 plus rebounds, and 4 assists a night, and he snagged over 21,000 boards in his career, landing him near the summit of the all-time list. He picked up 5 regular season MVPs and logged 12 All-Star nods, all while shooting 44% and never needing to be the go-to scorer. His impact came on the other end of the floor. Defense was his domain, and he redefined what it meant to lock a team down. In playoff time, he ramped up to nearly 25 rebounds per game and never lost a deciding postseason matchup. Guys like Larry Bird and John Havlicek are Celtics icons, but Russell's leadership, ironclad consistency, and game-changing presence laid the groundwork for a dynasty that still looms large today. Cavaliers. LeBron James is the undisputed king in Cleveland. 11 seasons over 2 runs, and he flipped that franchise on its head. He hauled them to their lone title in 2016, snagged Finals MVP by leading both teams in every major stat, and picked up 2 regular season MVPs while rocking All-Star status year after year. He put up north of 27 points, 7 boards, and 7 assists nightly, shooting over 50% from the floor. In the playoffs, he cranked it up to 28 a game and posted the highest player efficiency rating the league's ever seen. He dragged the Cavs to multiple finals and made Cleveland must-watch basketball every season he laced up. Sure, Kyrie had his moments, and Mark Price was a wizard in the 90s, but LeBron's ironclad consistency, leadership, and off-court impact leave everyone else in his dust. No Cavalier before or since has come close to the legacy he wrote in Cleveland. Warriors. Steph Curry is the Warriors' ultimate legend, a true lifer who's rewired the game around the globe. Back in 2007 finals, the score hovered around 73 to 65. Now teams routinely crack that mark before the break, thanks to Curry's non-stop splash from deep. He just became the first player in NBA history to drain 4,000 career threes, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. He took Golden State from "who" status to one of the league's most electrifying dynasties. Remember the days when the Warriors were just a footnote? Now they're on every highlight reel, all because Steph showed what's possible beyond the arc. His gravity pulls defenders into orbit, opening the floor for everyone else. Sure, Wilt Chamberlain was a force of nature, and his records still dazzle. But Curry's consistency, creativity, and sheer loyalty to the Bay make him the best Warrior ever. He didn't just join a franchise, he built a movement. Raptors. Kyle Lowry is the Raptors' all-time legend, no debate. 9 seasons in Toronto, and he turned a fringe team into real contenders. He captained the ship all the way to that 2019 title run, and was the engine behind it. 6 All-Star nods, an All-NBA third-team splash in 2016, and over 17 points, 7 assists, and nearly 5 rebounds a night across 601 games. In 2016-17, he even bumped up to 22 points per game while still racking up those dimes. Lowry's playoff DNA showed up every spring, especially in 16 and 19, when he flat out carried the squad to the finals. His leadership reset the franchise's culture and kept Toronto relevant year after year. DeMar DeRozan had his scoring moments, and Kawhi's one-year MVP tour was epic. But nobody impacts this city like Lowry did. He's the heartbeat of that championship story. Knicks. Patrick Ewing is the undisputed Knick, the guy who defined New York basketball for 15 seasons. He put up over 21 points, nearly 10 boards, and more than 2 blocks a night, totaling north of 24,000 points and 11,000 rebounds for his career. Shooting 50.4% from the floor, he was a paint machine on offense and a rim ember on defense. 11 All-Star nods, Rookie of the Year in '86, and multiple All-NBA selections. Ewing splashed across every honors list. He still owns the franchise books for points, rebounds, and swats, and he dragged the Knicks into finals runs in both '94 and '99. In the playoffs, he piled up scoring, boards, and blocks like no one else in orange and blue. He never snagged that elusive ring, but his ironclad leadership and steady dominance became the Knicks' backbone. Willis Reed may be Mr. Clutch in finals lore, but when it comes to pure all-around impact, Ewing sits at the top of the Madison Square Garden history books, forever. Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo has stamped himself as the undisputed Bucks legend. No one else even comes close. He ended Milwaukee's 50-year title drought in 2021, snagging Finals MVP by downright dominating that series. He's a 2-time league MVP and even grabbed Defensive Player of the Year in 2020. Over his Bucks tenure, he's averaged nearly 24 points, 10 boards, and 5 assists on over 53% shooting. This season, he's ramping up to over 30 points, almost 12 rebounds, and 6 assists per night, while knocking down better than 60% of his looks. He's the only player ever to post multiple seasons of 25-10-5 with at least 1 block and 1 steal. A perennial all-star, he also hauled in NBA Cup MVP honors when Milwaukee won it in 2024. Kareem and Oscar laid the groundwork, but Giannis's two-way brilliance and sustained dominance make him the greatest Buck in franchise history. Clippers. Chris Paul redefined the Clippers. No one else even comes close. In 6 seasons in LA, he averaged about 19 points, nearly 10 assists, and over 4 boards a night, all on roughly 48% shooting. He led the league in assists 3 times and topped the steals charts 5 out of 6 years. CP3 snagged multiple All-Star nods and All-NBA honors, always elevating his game when the stakes were highest. In 53 playoff outings with the Clippers, he poured in over 21 points and dished nearly 9 assists per contest. His arrival sparked the Lob City era, giving LA its first real swagger, division titles in 2013 and 14, and consistent postseason pushes. Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan brought the highlight dunks, but it was Paul's leadership, lockdown defense, and wizard-level playmaking that turned the Clippers into bona fide contenders. He didn't just join the franchise, he rewrote its history. Nuggets. Nikola Jokic has cemented himself as the undisputed Nuggets legend. No debate needed. He guided Denver to its first NBA title in 2023, claiming Finals MVP along the way, and he's already a 3-time league MVP. Jokic's career averages sit north of 21 points, nearly 11 boards, and over 7 assists on about 56% shooting, redefining the modern big man with his court vision. He owns the highest player efficiency rating in league history and shatters records every season. In April 2025, he exploded for a 61-point triple-double, the most points ever in that feat, and just a month earlier became the first player to rack up a 30-point, 20-rebound, 20-assist game. While Alex English blitzed Denver's milestones first, Jokic has taken the franchise to stratospheric heights. His blend of scoring, passing, and rebounding makes him the greatest Nugget of all time. Thunder. Russell Westbrook is the unquestioned face of the Thunder. 11 seasons in OKC, and he put up north of 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists per night over 821 games. In 2016, he joined Oscar Robertson as the only player to average a triple-double for a season, and then smashed the single-season record with 42 of them, earning MVP honors for his trouble. a 7-time All-Star with multiple All-NBA nods, including 2 first-team selections. Westbrook kept the Thunder in title conversations even after other stars moved on. He poured in 51 points on Houston in a playoff showdown and was the engine behind OKC's 2012 finals run alongside KD. Durant may have been the superstar, but Westbrook's relentless energy, box score stuffing, and fierce loyalty made him the ultimate Thunder legend. Heat. Dwyane Wade is the Heat's all-time king. He laid the tracks for everything Miami's built since. Over 16 NBA seasons, most in Miami, he put up over 22 points, 5 assists, and nearly 5 boards per night on 48% shooting. He hauled in 3 titles and snagged Finals MVP in 2006 after a legendary 35-point playoff average. Wade's resume includes 13 All-Star nods, multiple All-NBA honors, and 3 All-Defensive teams, and he still sits atop Miami's charts in points, assists, and steals. His dagger against the Bulls and the iconic "This is my house" swagger are etched in Heat lore. They retired his number 3 and even raised a statue outside the arena. Stats and rings aside, nobody's molded Miami basketball's identity like Wade. Grizzlies. Marc Gasol is the undisputed Grizzlies legend, the backbone of their gritty heyday. Over 769 games in Memphis, he put up north of 15 points, nearly 8 boards, and over 3 assists on about 48% shooting. He not only became the franchise's all-time rebound king, but also cracked the 10,000-point milestone wearing Grizzlies blue. Gasol racked up 3 All-Star nods, 2 All-NBA second-team selections, and snagged Defensive Player of the Year in 2013. His steady leadership was the engine behind the grit and grind era, toughness, teamwork, elite defense, and he steered Memphis through multiple playoff runs, capped by that 2013 trip to the Western Conference Finals. Sure, he went on to win a ring in Toronto, but his true mark was made in Memphis. His jersey hangs in the rafters for good reason. With a recent Hall of Fame nod, his legacy as the Grizzlies' definitive star is locked in forever. Magic. Dwight Howard is the Magic's all-time king, and no one's come close to his Orlando reign. In 8 seasons, he racked up 8 straight All-Star nods, anchored both ends of the floor, and snagged Defensive Player of the Year 3 years running, an NBA first. He landed 5 All-NBA first-team spots and drove Orlando all the way to the 2009 Finals. He owns the franchise marks in points, rebounds, blocks, free throws made, and minutes logged. Year after year, he hauled in double-digit boards, using freakish athleticism and perfect timing to own the paint. In 2009, he posted 15.8 win shares, third in the league, and saw his PER peak at 26.5, monster numbers that underline his impact. Shaq and T-Mac had their moments, but Dwight's records, longevity, and finals run cement him as the most important player in Magic history. Mavericks. Dirk Nowitzki is the undisputed Mavs icon. Nobody even comes close. Over 21 seasons in Dallas, he poured in more than 31,000 points, snagged over 11,000 boards, dished out 3,000-plus assists, and shot 47% from the floor. He splashed almost 2,000 triples and knocked down free throws at an 88% clip. 14 All-Star nods, the 2007 MVP trophy, and that unforgettable 2011 championship run where he snagged Finals MVP, Dirk did it all. He owns every major Mavericks record: points, rebounds, assists, blocks, you name it. His loyalty and ice-cold clutch gene built the franchise's identity and turned Dallas into a legit powerhouse. Luka's magic is real, but Dirk's consistency, loyalty, and title run cement him as the ultimate Maverick. They've retired his jersey and even erected a statue outside the arena, because some legacies just can't be topped. Pelicans. Chris Paul's easily the best player New Orleans has ever seen, hands down. He spent 6 seasons there putting up over 16 points, nearly 8 assists, and 5 rebounds a night. Day 1, he snatched Rookie of the Year in 2006, then led the league in both assists and steals in back-to-back campaigns. CP3 racked up 3 All-Star nods and 2 All-NBA first-team spots, and his efficiency was off the charts. He still owns the Pelicans' Hornets record books for assists and steals, and ranks 3rd in scoring all-time for the franchise. Remember 2008? He steered New Orleans to a franchise-best 56 wins and a deep playoff push, posting 15.8 win shares that season. Sure, Anthony Davis and David West put together epic runs, but it was Paul's leadership and playmaking that turned that team into a contender. and made him the undisputed face of that era, Spurs. Tim Duncan is the Spurs' ultimate GOAT, the rock-solid foundation of that 5-title dynasty. Over 19 seasons in San Antonio, he poured in north of 26,000 points on better than 50% shooting, hauled in almost 15,000 rebounds, swatted nearly 3,000 shots, and still dished out over 3 assists a night. He guided the franchise to 5 championships, snagged 3 Finals MVP trophies, and back-to-back league MVPs in 2002-03. With 15 All-Star nods, 10 first-team All-NBA selections, and 8 first-team All-Defensive honors, he owned both ends of the floor. Early on, he teamed with David Robinson in the Twin Towers era, then seamlessly transitioned into the Parker Ginobili Big Three stretch. Duncan never missed the playoffs once, and San Antonio hit 50 wins almost every season he laced up. His steady leadership, unselfish game, and rock-solid consistency became the Spurs' heartbeat. In a franchise defined by team-first basketball, there was no one more essential than Tim Duncan. Pacers. Reggie Miller is the Pacers' all-time legend. 18 seasons in Indy, and he carried that franchise through its golden years. He dropped north of 25,000 points, averaged over 18 a night, and shot 47% from the floor, nearly 40% from 3, and 89% at the stripe. 5 All-Star nods, 3 All-NBA honors, and Hall of Fame induction in 2012. He checked every box. Miller still owns Indiana's records for points, assists, steals, and games played, 1,389 regular season outings. And in 2000, he steered the Pacers to their first NBA Finals. The 90s and early 2000s playoffs were basically his playground, and his Nick Killer moments, clutch threes that froze Madison Square Garden, are still the stuff of legend. No one's worn Pacers blue with more pride or pushed this franchise higher than Reggie Miller. Timberwolves. Kevin Garnett is the undisputed Timberwolves legend. He owns just about every record that mattered in Minnesota. Over 12 seasons, he poured in north of 19,000 points, averaged better than 20 a night, snagged over 10,000 boards, and dished out 4,000 plus assists while shooting nearly 50% from the floor. He also racked up 500 blocks and 300 steals, leading the franchise on both ends. In 2004, he snagged MVP honors and dragged the Wolves to their first, and only, Western Conference Finals. He'd already claimed All-Star Game MVP in 2003 and later added Defensive Player of the Year in 2008. KG's intensity, leadership, and two-way dominance made him the face of Minnesota basketball. No one's ever defined this franchise like Garnett. His legacy in Timberwolves blue is simply untouchable. Trailblazers. Damian Lillard is the undisputed Trailblazers icon, and his stats spell it out. He poured in over 18,000 points in Portland, surpassing Clyde Drexler as the franchise's all-time leading scorer, and he still owns the team's highest scoring average at 25 plus per night. Dame also leads in triples made, 2,300 plus, and he's knocked down more than 4,400 free throws at nearly 89% accuracy. Across 769 games, he's racked up over 5,000 assists, ranking second in team history, while chipping in 6 dimes and 4 rebounds a night. Known as Mr. Clutch, Lillard routinely raises his game when it matters most, knocking down game winners like it's routine. Sure, Clyde and Bill Walton had their shining eras, but Lillard's record-breaking numbers, rock-solid consistency, and leadership make him the face of Rip City for generations. Suns. Steve Nash is the undisputed Suns legend, the engine behind Phoenix's most electric era. Over 744 games in the Valley, he averaged north of 14 points, nearly 10 assists, and over 3 boards each night. He snagged back-to-back MVP trophies in 2005 and 2006, racked up 8 All-Star nods, and earned 3 first-team All-NBA honors. Nash led the league in dimes 5 times, including a 3-year stretch, and cracked the 50-40-90 club 4 times, showcasing video game shooting splits. He still owns Phoenix's assist record with more than 6,900 and ranks 8th on the team's all-time scoring chart. Under his leadership, the Suns claimed division crowns in 2005, 2006, and 2007, and his 7 seconds or less pace changed the NBA's offensive blueprint. Charles Barkley and Amare Stoudemire were stars in their own right, but Nash's blend of vision, efficiency, and charisma put him on another level in Suns history. Sixers. Julius Dr. J. Irving is in a league of his own for the Sixers. His resume is straight fire. Over 11 seasons in Philly, he lit up the scoreboard for 18,000 plus points, cruising at 22 points, 7 boards, and 3 assists a night. He dropped 20 plus PPG in 7 of those seasons. That's peak consistency. Dr. J shot over 50% from the floor for 5 straight years and posted a ridiculous 57% true shooting mark. Nuts for his era. When the playoffs hit, he turned it up even more, pouring in over 2,400 points across 122 games. In the 1980 finals run, he averaged 25 and 7, showing up when it mattered most. His career PER in Philly topped 21, and he racked up north of 100 win shares. AI was electric, but Dr. J's blend of scoring efficiency, two-way impact, and leadership puts him head and shoulders above as the Sixers' all-time GOAT, Pistons. Isaiah Thomas is the heartbeat of Pistons history. No one's ever meant more to Detroit basketball. Over 979 regular season games, he poured in north of 18,000 points, dished out more than 9,000 assists, and shot over 45% from the floor. He didn't just show up, he led the Bad Boys to back-to-back titles in 89 and 90, scooping Finals MVP both years. T-Mac made 12 All-Star squads, snagged 5 All-NBA nods, and always dialed it up when it counted. He still owns Detroit's books in points, assists, steals, and minutes played, underscoring how central he was every single night. Under his leadership, the Pistons perfected the Jordan rules and became a defensive nightmare for anyone, Michael Jordan included. Joe Dumars and Ben Wallace carried their own weights, but it's Thomas's killer instinct, championship pedigree, and all-around game that cement him as the true face of the Motor City. Kings. Oscar Robertson is the undisputed Kings legend. No one even comes close. Over 752 games in Cincinnati, he dropped more than 22,000 points, averaging nearly 29 a night. He wasn't just scoring either. He racked up over 7,700 assists and grabbed 8 boards per game, unheard of numbers for a guard. In 1962, he rewrote the record books by averaging a triple-double, over 30 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists per contest. His career PER in purple and white sat above 23, and a true shooting clip of 56% shows how deadly efficient he was. With nearly 190 win shares, he was the engine behind every Kings playoff run and even snagged the 1964 MVP trophy. Oscar turned the Royals into a must-watch franchise. He was everything a team could ask for, night in and night out. Rockets. Hakeem Olajuwon is hands down the biggest legend in Rockets lore, and his impact still echoes today. Over 1,238 games in Houston, he piled up 26,000 plus points and swiped down 13,000 plus boards, all while swatting a ridiculous 3,800 plus shots, unmatched rim protection. He averaged nearly 22 a night and carried the Rockets to back-to-back titles in 94 and 95, walking away with Finals MVP each time. In 94, he snagged both League MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, proof he was the complete package on both ends. With 12 All-Star nods and 6 first-team All-NBA selections, he's the only player ever to top 3,000 blocks and 2,000 steals. His Dream Shake rewrote the rulebook for post moves, and his steady leadership made Houston a dynasty. Sure, James Harden lit it up in the triple threat era, but when you talk all-time Rockets royalty, nobody sits higher on the throne than Hakeem Olajuwon. Nets. Jason Kidd rewrote the Nets playbook. No one's had a bigger impact. In 506 games with New Jersey, he averaged about 14 points, 9 assists, and 7 rebounds per night, piling up 61 triple-doubles along the way. He steered the team into 6 straight postseasons and back-to-back finals in 2002 and 2003. In those 78 playoff games, he bumped his averages to 16 points, 9 dimes, and 8 boards. On defense, Kidd was a menace. Nearly 2 steals a game and multiple all-defensive first and second team nods. He flipped the franchise's script instantly, boosting wins by 26 in his first year. He still owns New Jersey's records for assists, steals, triples, and triple-doubles. Plenty of stars have worn the Nets jersey, but Kidd's leadership, court vision, and two-way dominance cement him as Brooklyn's greatest net ever. Hornets. Kemba Walker is straight up the Hornets' all-time MVP, no debate. Over 605 games in Charlotte, he piled on 12,000 plus points, dished out 3,000 assists, and grabbed nearly 2,400 boards. He lit up the All-Star Weekend 4 years running, 2017 to 2020, snagged All-NBA third team nods in 19, and even scooped 2 sportsmanship awards, proof he brought respect as much as highlights. He owns Charlotte's record books for scoring, games played, and minutes logged. Remember that wild night on November 17th, 2018? Kemba torched Philly for 60 points in overtime, still the franchise high. And in the 2016 playoffs, he averaged 22 a night, steering the Cats through that gritty first-round battle. Plenty have worn the teal and purple, but Kemba's clutch scoring, floor leadership, and game-changing flair defined the modern Hornets era. Hawks. Dominique Wilkins is the undisputed Hawks icon. No one's touched his legacy in Atlanta. Over 882 games, he poured in 23,000-plus points and snagged over 6,000 rebounds, cruising at a 26-point average. In '86, he snagged the scoring title with a 30-point clip, and by 1990, he was shooting nearly 48% from the floor. His advanced numbers were just as insane, a 24.4 PR in '87 and a league-leading 35% usage rate in '88. The Human highlight film lit up 9 All-Star weekends and earned 7 All-NBA nods, plus 2 unforgettable dunk contest crowns. He still owns Atlanta's marks for games, points, and made field goals. Sure, Bob Pettit has a ring, but Wilkins' nonstop scoring, Iron Man consistency, and cultural buzz make him the greatest Hawk ever. To this day, his fierce style and highlight reels still define Atlanta basketball. Jazz. Karl the Mailman Malone is the undisputed Jazz legend. No one even comes close. Over 1,476 games in Salt Lake, he piled up north of 36,000 points, averaging a sturdy 25-10 with nearly 4 dimes a night. He made 14 All-Star squads, snagged 11 All-NBA first-team nods, and hauled in MVP hardware twice, 97 and 99. Malone hauled the Jazz to back-to-back final showdowns with Jordan's Bulls and still owns Utah's records for points, rebounds, field goals, and minutes played. He's also king of free throws made and attempted, an edge he's kept for decades. His pick-and-roll chemistry with John Stockton became legendary. Stockton's court vision and Malone's muscle formed one of the NBA's all-time best duos. Stockton's wizardry was epic, but Malone's relentless scoring and ironclad consistency built Utah's identity for nearly 20 years. When you talk Jazz lore, Malone's face is front and center. No question, he's the franchise's ultimate icon. Wizards. Wes Unseld is the undisputed king of bullets lore. No one even comes close. Over 984 games in DC, he pulled down a whopping 14 rebounds a night alongside 10-plus points. Day 1, he dropped 22 boards in his very first NBA game, then rolled straight into Rookie of the Year and MVP honors in '69. He anchored Washington to 4 finals appearances, capping it off with the '78 title run. A 2-time league MVP and 5-time All-Star, Unseld's leadership in clutch moments was legendary. He parlayed that on-court savvy into stints as coach and GM, and his number 41 hangs forever in the rafters. An Iron Man who tops the franchise in games played, his impact stretched beyond the paint into the DC community. Sure, guys like Elvin Hayes and John Wall had big moments, but Unseld's mix of toughness, leadership, and lifelong dedication cements him as the ultimate Bullets legend. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching.